Hello, dear friends. Welcome again to Live Conversation. My name is Jana, and my co-host today is Kanu from Nigeria. Hello, Kanu.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Jana.
Our guest today is Ahmed, and Ahmed is from Somaliland. Hello, Ahmed.
Hi, Jana. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. So everyone wants to be happy, to have time to spend with family, friends, and on hobbies. And people worldwide understand that unification of humans is an important aspect of building a better future. Today, we have Ahmed from Somaliland. He's a professional writer and a humanitarian, currently based in Johannesburg, South Africa. In 2018, he was named the Global Goodwill Ambassador, and he uses his words to make a contribution to society. Today, we will learn more about Ahmed, and we'll talk about the importance of having a vision of a better future, a creative society where all people are comfortable living and the best human qualities prevail. We will also discuss the importance of the 8 foundations of the creative society. Kanu?
Yes, and we may be asking, you may be wondering, what is a creative society? I'll tell you. Creative society is a project of ALLATRA International Public Movement. It is being implemented by volunteers in over 140 countries around the world in order to find out how people envision the world where everyone is living happily and where people are living a fulfilled life, without any conflict and without any separation. Well, today, at the end of our program today, we are going to ask our guests to nominate someone for us. It can be someone he already knows or someone he has never met. So Ahmad, you are going to nominate someone for us at the end of this program. But before we go to that, we want to start by asking you, Ahmad, to please tell us a little more about yourself.
Thank you, Kanu. I appreciate it. I'm Abdul Kadir, but to shorten it up, everyone calls me AK. I'm based in Johannesburg, South Africa, and over the past 13 years, I've been a professional writer, and I think it's essential for me as an individual to give back to society as much as I can. There was a beautiful quote I read somewhere that said that the price of living is to be of service of others. And I try to embody that, with everything that I do, to work with individuals that have purpose and passion and power in their own orbit. So I'm honored to be, being interviewed and being on the flip side instead of doing the interviews. And I think I did not know that 140 countries were part of this amazing project. But I'm honored more than ever and humbled by the fact that you have acknowledged me to give my input as an individual, as a writer, as a creative. So thank you for that.
Yes, so our goal is to ask everybody in the world, to find out from everybody their vision of a creative society. So we're very happy you were able to join us, and we'll be answering our questions. And so the first question is, please share how you envision a creative society where all people are comfortable in all spheres of life.
I would like to think that the very fact that we're all here in the world means that we've done more good than there is bad in the world. And when I came across, the Creative Society and the work that, they are constantly doing, it's actionable change that needs to be done. Whether it's, through humanitarian work, I think more power needs to be given to people that are actively changing the world. And, there are people in power, but there are very few people that are giving power. And people that are giving power are the ones that are less funded. And, we also need to focus mostly on creating a better world, not just for some, but for everyone, for men, women, which is why I think we need to focus on the problems at hand, such as gender inequality, gender-based violence. I think, even the something as small as, each country's problems need to be addressed on, a federal level, a state level, as well as on a community level. So I think where us creatives come together is we need to have the dialogue, but not only have the dialogue, but to also have actionable plans in place to make a change. That's how I see a world that's better for not only our generations, but the future generations to come. And to answer your question, I think if we all pitch in a little bit, we'll be able to get there.
That's good, Ahmed. We just want to know from you your opinion, how important you think it is that we should take steps towards human unification and to show the best qualities in people, qualities such as humanness and kindness, as well as mutual help. How important do you think it is to take steps towards this?
I think that is something that's very, very, very important to consider in the world that we live in. It's as if, humanity has kind of lost the foundation of, it's beyond just human rights. These are, how to interact with one another as human beings. And to separation is I think the single-handedly most detrimental thing that could happen to humanity, and we need to unify together. That I think is something that needs to be worked on individually, as well as in our community. What can we do personally to unify ourselves? Are we aware of what's going on in our own community, what's going on in other communities, and how can we better unify ourselves instead of separate, which is why connecting, I think, here I am, all the way in Johannesburg, Jana all the way, in Atlanta, Kanu all the way in Nigeria. I think that alone should speak volumes of the power of connecting with one another rather than separating, especially now during this pandemic that came out of nowhere. I think it's now more than ever that we need to unify and, connect and innovate the ways in which we move forward as one moving body instead of, separated entities.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great answer. Really like it. And since you're a writer, how important do you think it is to show more positive examples in the media today?
It's crucial because whenever change happens, change needs to be documented, and media is I think, probably the most powerful format of documenting something. And right now, the media is very polarized. You're either on one side or the other side, whereas we need to kind of have the sort of media integrity and journalistic integrity where storytelling of individuals are placed forth and given power to people who don't have voices, because the media can often, orbit around certain stories that will get most likes, but will often leave out the individuals that won't generate revenue for their website. That is how I think, the media needs to change their mindset and innovate by storytelling and, creatively giving power to individuals that have gone through struggles, give platforms to survivors, whether it is, survivors of rape, survivors of, poverty, people who have overcome this as well as people going through it. Because once you bring these two worlds together of people that are actively, going through violence, together with survivors of, for example, violence, I think that's where the magic of healing happens.
Wow, that's great. But just to follow up on what you've just said, it seems that the media has a lot of role to play, and most of the things that people believe, most of the influences we have come from the media. So on that note, I want to ask you, what do you think? How do you think we need to work towards changing the vector of human society, that's our society's development, from this consumerist-oriented one to making it more creative-oriented so that we could have the creative society?
The way I see it is that, the people in power see power in a different way than it should be. It was the beautiful words, I think, of Kerry Washington that said that the definition of power has changed. Power was all about keeping it to yourselves, whereas now true power is sharing it with everyone. And I think what we can all do, in creating a more prosperous, whether it's financial or mental well-being, we all need to kind of unify in a sense where there's a specific word I can't think of right now, where alignment happens. There we go. Where alignment comes into place, where everyone falls in to help one another, kind of. There's a South African word called Ubuntu, which is togetherness. And I think the world needs more of that, and to kind of focus on where the weaknesses lie and focus more power on that, as well as, funding, because without, real funding, we can't really make actionable change. We can have many conferences, but where is the funding that can back, certain organizations that can make actionable change? Because that is what is needed.
That actually brings us to the next thing that I wanted to talk about, the 8 foundations of the Creative Society. We are going to see those on our screen right now. And they are human life, human freedom, human safety, transparency and openness of information for all, the creative ideology, development of personality, justice and equality, and self-governing society. And so we want to talk a little bit and would like to get your opinion on the one that's justice and equality. And I'm going to read it completely and ask you to comment and tell us what you think about it, how that should work in the creative society. So it says all natural resources belong to humans and are fairly distributed among all people. Monopolization of resources and their irrational use is prohibited. These resources are fairly distributed among the citizens of the entire earth. A human is guaranteed employment if he or she so desires. Pay for an identical position, specialty, or profession should be the same all over the world. Everyone has the right to private property and income, however, within the limits of the individual's capitalization amount set by the society. So what would you say about that?
I think those principles are absolutely beautiful and well thought out, and the problem that we face as a society, as a creative society, is how can we implement all those, laws? And the problem I think we are faced with is that not everyone is included in that, because with the gender gap and with with certain marginalization of individuals, we all can't, find that balance where everyone is seen as equal in this world, which is, something that is disheartening. But I think if we can all come together, whether, you're a man or a woman, whether you're of a different faith, and everyone just decides, what, on a human level, we all need to have our own financial security. We all need to be safe. I think, that, as mentioned in that, we all need to be safe. And when you hear stories about, a woman being killed in her own home during this pandemic, that in itself, I think, should remind us that not everyone is safe, and safety is something that should be embedded in our born human rights. Like, when you are born, you are given that breath of air. Safety should be embedded with that. The very fact that a lot of people don't feel safe in their own homes, in their own countries, don't feel safe in speaking out against their own government, all of that, we need to address that. And if it means, for example, you're from a different country, but you're aware that there's some injustices happening elsewhere, figure out how you can make a contribution to add to the conversation, or at the very least give awareness to the injustices. Because if I'm being, a tad bit, brutal, there's a lot of injustices happening in the world. Even in for example, China, with the camps that are, being created. I'm not in China. I can't do actionable change, but I can make it, an awareness. I'm not in the US, right now. So I know that, I'm kind of privileged, even though I might be seen, okay, as a Black man. I have my privilege in South Africa because I'm not, being targeted, for example, by the cops. These are just examples. I'm not, being political or anything of the sort, but injustice is injustice and wrong is wrong. Wherever there's wrong taking place, we need to focus as a global community and, creatively speaking, what can we all do? The beautiful thing about the Creative Society project is that it moves towards change. It drives humanity to become better. And I think through individual change, we can kind of have a ripple effect where we can, link up to one another, connect, and create change.
Thank you. I just wanted to follow up a little bit on that. I know, Creative Society is all about focusing on the human being. So all of those things that you spoke about would go away completely. I wanted to see if you could comment, though, on the part that says that all natural resources belong to humans and are fairly distributed among all people. So, that no part of the world has more or less of anything. What do you think that would be like?
I think that comes back to, the thinking of, there are a lot of individuals where if they have, one loaf of bread and a visitor shows up, they will share that, slice of bread. I think that message drives that home where, we all need to think that way, that the natural resources belong to everyone. This does not belong, to a government. It does not belong to a certain organization or, a wealthy individual that bought the land. The land is a resource that was given to everyone, and I think, to reclaim our power, we all need to reclaim our self-worth in understanding our power in who we are, and how we can individually make it aware that there's something not aligning properly in the world. And for example, with myself, I I found it very difficult to place myself in the world. I did not know where I land because I was, born in Zambia. Then I came to South Africa. My parents are from Somaliland. So I thought, I don't have land. But then when I think of it on a global scale, I'd like to think of myself, as a global citizen, where the earth is my land. If I show up, visiting Canoe in Nigeria, he will welcome me. If I show up Atlanta to visit you, I would very much like you to, welcome me into your land. And I think the beauty of it is once we go back to our roots of being kind, empathetic, and understanding that, the resources that are on this planet are bountiful, and, we all deserve a piece of it. And anyone who thinks otherwise, obviously wants to keep the land to themselves.
That was great, Ahmed. Thoroughly enjoying myself with listening to you. You're making very great points, and it's hitting home, particularly that we should be able to understand that the earth the resources of the earth belongs to everyone. And by the way, I want to tell you, anytime you come to Nigeria, you're very much welcome. We are looking forward to have you visit Nigeria. It's all right.
Same here.
Yeah.
Come on over.
So I think it was, I can't remember now who said it. Was it Socrates? One time I think he said that after the thunder comes the rain. I think we are there. I had mentioned at the beginning that towards the end of the program, we'll ask you to nominate someone for us. So this is the time. So Ahmed, can you nominate someone for us for our next program? Anybody you know or someone you don't know? Anybody maybe you have not met him? Tell us also why you think such person is important to you.
I think the strange thing is, I've been thinking about who to nominate, and I've had, some wonderful chats with a lot of individuals. And before, I nominate someone, I want to quickly, give gratitude to, all the up and coming, African and Black writers and poets out there that have not yet been discovered, because I've been seeing some amazing work, within Africa. And I want to take a moment to take my hat off. I've been reading some amazing, work from here, as well as Africans in the UK, in the US. So I want to first take that moment to say, watch out for, a lot of individuals that are, bringing forth their platform. And I look forward to interviewing them. But I'd like to nominate Sarah Lemon, who is an individual based in the US, in Los Angeles, who has not only been a mentor to me, but has, I think, a vision of honesty and truth and creativity to her that I think would be an essential member to the Creative Society.
Wonderful. We'll definitely reach out to her and bring her on as soon as she's able to. We'll see how fast we can reach Sarah Lemon. And to remind our viewers, if you would like to learn more about the Creative Society project or be a guest on our program, please visit www.allatra.unites.com. www.allatraunites.com. It's on your screen right now. Or send us an email. If you support the Creative Society, please click the join button to participate in building the kind of society we all want. Thank you, Ahmed, for joining us today and sharing your vision of the Creative Society. We appreciate it.
Absolutely welcome. Thank you for having me. I look forward to working with the project. Thank you, Kanu. Thank you, Jana.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Everyone.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, all of our viewers.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.